Hi, and welcome to my very awkward intro. That was a very awkward wave. I normally do this, but I did this. I don't know, but there's a bad tan coming off currently, so just ignore. Anyway, hi, and welcome to my very awkward intro. My name is Susan/Bambi, and this is Bambi's Rambles. How are we, friends? Are we good? That's good, and if you're not okay, that's okay too. In today's video, we're going to be talking about something that... What do I say about this? Because I feel like you guys are either going to be like, why'd you make a video on this, or like, oh my god, this is a cool video. So it's going to be one or the other, and I'm not giving anyone inspiration to subscribe right now, but subscribe to my channel anyway. I am fun, I am confused, and I am hot. No, I am just subscribe, it's free. Anywho, so one night I was in bed and it was late as always, couldn't freaking sleep, and I was like, you know what, let's go on an adventure, a rabbit hole so to speak. And I ended up on Paramount Plus, which I've never really been on before, and there was a show. Now the show was called Lohan Beach Club, right? And it's obviously Lindsay Lohan. It is a reality TV show where she buys a beach in Mykonos, and the reason why she buys this beach, is trigger warning, is because she was physically assaulted by an ex-partner on that said beach. And before I go on to the rest of the video, I just want to have my little side fucking tangent here. I have seen clips of this, well, partial clips of this altercation between Lindsay Lohan and her partner at the time. And I'm not putting them in this video, and they're like, I kind of get the idea of having recording for court if that worked in Lindsay Lohan's favor, fantastic. But having a moment like that in your life where paparazzi are just standing around filming, when you should be getting off your ass and protecting this woman from being in a physical altercation with her partner, where he basically, what I saw was he twisted her arm back like this and popped a phone out of her hand, whether it was his or hers, I don't know. But the media were right there watching, filming, recording, and not that I saw in this footage anyone stopped and helped her, so that was pretty fucked up in my humble opinion. So she has said altercation with her ex-partner, now ex-partner, thank goodness, and so she decides that in that moment she wanted to change the future and the outcome and the experience of this beach. This is why I found this so interesting, is because this part here was even interesting to me. So she goes and she purchases the beach and wants to turn it into something fantastic and have a history there and change what that location represents to her. And I found that, one, she has way too much fucking money if she's buying a beach in Mykonos. Second of all, that's really like warming and moving and shows that there is like a sense of growth and strength in this woman. I don't know, like there were two vibes about that I got from that. Okay, so before we keep going with the video, I just want to let you guys know that I love Lindsay Lohan. I don't know about you guys, but when I was like 11, I was like, I'm in love with her. I want to be her. I want to be with her. I want to marry her. I want to be her sister. Like, everything about Lindsay Lohan I just thought was incredible. Like, I thought she was so talented. I couldn't believe someone so little. Like in The Parent Trap, that was incredible. Freaky Friday, Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, Mean Girls. Like, we could talk about how fucking talented this woman is. Anyway, I just wanted to get that out there really quickly, because I know people like to lum at her and like laugh at her and like mock her and stuff, but can we just look at that for just a second, that she's really freaking talented, then having the perseverance and everything to just be like, okay, I'm gonna buy this beach and change my life. Whoa. Anyway, so the show is basically, she buys this beach, she turns it into a nightclub essentially, but it's a day club. It's a day beach, it's a day whatever. And what she had done was have like VIP guests with VIP cabanas and all those sorts of things. And she, for the summer, because they only did it for the summer, they invited 13 VIP hosts, which is where we get to the idea that this is like a bootleg home brand version of Vanderpump Rules. Do you know what Vanderpump Rules is? I hope you do, but if you don't, Vanderpump Rules is a show based on Lisa Vanderpump and her husband Ken own a restaurant bar. They own a couple of them, but they own this one, Sir, where they have beautiful, intelligent, young models as their servers. And coming with that, there's relationships, there's drama, there's Stacy, there's Lala, there's so much over the years that have gone on, but it's all basically the same thing in my opinion. I no longer watch. But anywhoozle, this is what I believe is a mixture of Below Deck and Vanderpump Rules, and Lindsay Lohan is the boss, and it flopped. Anyway, so now we get to the real juicy bit of the show, which is actually the cast, right? So when you walk into this show, you have it in your mind that you're going to get a lot of Lindsay learning to create this business. A lot of Lindsay and Panos, who is her best friend, and her business partner, who is he's a gorgeous man. Like he is gorgeous the way he dresses, everything. Oh, love him. Anyway, but he's really, really tough and really, really strict, and I can see that as like the like what we say in Australia is like the WOG way of being, is very strict, stern, you know, and that's where he comes in, and that's why he has a side of the business where he is actually running things, and he is yelling at people, and he is doing all this crazy stuff, right? Because Lindsay is a bit of a pushover in some of these circumstances, which we'll get into. But anyway, so we have these VIP hosts, right? So we have Gabby, Brent, Mike, Sarah, Jules, Billy, Mike. Did I say Mike twice? I said Mike twice. I don't know why, but Mike's here. Jonetta, I can't say her name properly, I wish I could. Kayla May Archibald, I think his name was. Oh, I've got written here Archie, but I knew it was a longer name than that, but they did call him Ari and Archie. And then we have Kyle. Okay, so now we've basically got everything going on here. We know what's happening in the show, we know where everyone's place is, we know why these American servers party, like they party for a living. They're they do bottle service and all that sort of stuff. Like, it must be so different in other countries compared to here, because sometimes we, like, when I go to a nightclub, or when I used to go to a nightclub back in the day, and I used to go like 6-7 nights a week, ain't no bottle girls around, so you go to the bar like everybody else. But anywho's, or maybe I don't go to the most fancy nightclubs, who knows. Probably wouldn't let me in anyway. Anyway, shut up Susan, get to the point. Anyway, so these young people, they're all gorgeous, they're all, you know, good at their job, they're very, very arrogant, some of them. They ended up in a house together, so they're staying in this villa, and the reason why they're staying in this villa is because they're living and working together, and it's very much like they have it in their mind that it's going to be a bit like the Jersey Shore, and they start drinking all the alcohol in the house. They start partying. They chain smoking. They're fucking in the pool naked. They're doing all this crazy stuff. And Lindsay and Panos rock up, and middle of the night, like whatever, rock up and basically say, what are you doing? You're representing, this is Lindsay's thing throughout the whole show. She's like, you're representing me, you're representing my name, even if you're off the clock. And when they go out to nightclubs, like, they're ambassadors, so they're meant to go out and say, go to Lindsay's club and all this sort of stuff, right? So anyway, so they start doing all this crazy stuff. They get in trouble, you know, it's the rocking of the feathers, and then we're starting to see like the crew not getting along. Well, Panos and Lindsay, the friends turned business partners, show a very yin-yang relationship, mostly at the start. For example, May and Jules, once they had arrived, the two hostesses were nowhere to be found. They were actually at another beach handing out business cards. But what happened here was this VIP guest was like 3 hours late. But it doesn't matter. These girls had to be on their game, but they weren't. So what happened was we had the yin and yang that cemented in that moment that they are yin and yang, right? So essentially May and Jules, who we are talking about, who were at the other beach, were disappeared, weren't there for their guest. Panos was obviously running around, very upset, very frustrated, and he got other people to help, and they came back and all those sorts of things. And Lindsay has, I don't know if I've said this earlier in the video, but Lindsay has this like thing, and I swear to God, it freaks me out. She's like, if people have the right to watch me, I have the right to watch them. If they have the right to watch me, I have the right to watch them. Like, it was the weirdest, creepiest thing, but she kept saying it throughout the show. So she is around, right? She's in a cabana, she's having a good old time, she's partying on her beach, she's making new memories on this beach, all those sorts of stuff, right? Anywhoozle. So what happened was, Panos went and found Lindsay and said, fire them, I don't want them. Look what they've done, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so Lindsay, as co-owner of the business, had to go sit down with May, and they were going to fire May. Right, so what happened was, though, they were sitting down at the table, and May had a lotus flower tattoo on this finger. Right? Lindsay saw the lotus flower and goes, oh my God, my sister has one on the back of her neck. She was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And they sat down, they eventually fired her. Okay? She was very emotional, very upset, very dramatic, blah, blah, blah. Right? As you would if you've just been fired. Anyway. So, she ends up, Lindsay, like, so she essentially goes, like, May goes back to the bar, party, like, they're off the clock now, so everyone goes and has a shot or whatever. Panos goes up, he tries to make the girl feel better, he's like, no crying, have a shot with me. Lindsay drags the girl, like, grabs her, drags her back, and then Panos is, like, knowing what's going to happen. Essentially, she went back there and she was like, I had wished some people would have given me a second chance. I feel like you need a second chance. That lotus flower that you have, my sister has one. You remind me very much of my family and all those sorts of things. Essentially, keeping her. Then, Jules, who was also in the wrong, who was not fired as initially, was then taken aside and had to be fired because because Lindsay had just hired this girl back, and Panos is saying they're not going to take us seriously because they're going to think if we cry, they're going to give us our job back, or they're going to make sure that we stay on, you know, for next summer or in the new location, because they were planning a new location in Athens. So anyway, ended up firing this other girl, and then they welcomed 2 more people into the group, Kayla, and I can't remember the other guy's name, he's not really relevant, but anyway. So they're new in the group, and they're scaring everybody and all those sort of things. Anyway, so they do these sort of things throughout the show where they try and get a little bit more of Lindsay in. And it's Lindsay's way of saying, like, oh, if you guys are going to work for me and be ambassadors for my name and my brand and all those sorts of things, then I have to get to know you guys. So she ended up taking Kyle, Brent, and Kayla, who is a new girl, on a boat trip. So they went on this boat, like, yacht boat trip. Like, it would be a boat for me, mate, but it's a yacht for her. Anyway, so she went on the yacht, they went on the yacht thing, and Lindsay overheard a conversation where Kayla was basically saying, I don't give a fuck about none of y'all, I don't want to make friends, I don't want to be your mate, I don't want to braid your hair. If I need to take your job, I will take your job because I'm here for that. Anyway, Lindsay heard that, came up on the boat, and this is where we see a very different side to Lindsay. And Lindsay essentially is saying to this girl, oh, well, I've just heard what you've said and I don't really like that, like, we're a family and that's some mean girl behavior. Anyway, then she starts asking her all these questions of, like, how are you going to be here when you have a boyfriend at home, don't you miss him, and all those sorts of things. And she's like, no, He understands. I could maybe I'll bring him out here if I get the job and all those sorts of things. She's like, what does he do? She's like, he's a server. She's like, oh, I see, you're using my name to climb up the ladder. I don't think you're here for the right reasons and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, and so she was really upset, like, at Kayla. She was like, she felt like Kayla was really rude to the other staff. She felt like they weren't being, you know, we're not here for each other's jobs and all those sorts of things, even though they really are, because at the end they only take 4 of them with them, and you know what I mean. But anyway, so later on it all happens, and then they end up having it's their day off or whatever, and they're at the villa, they're having lunch. I mean, I think they're having dinner actually, and they're all pretty drunk. They've all been drinking and all those sorts of things. Again, Lindsay and Panos walk in and see that their house is a mess, essentially. Their house is a mess. There's shit is everywhere. It's like a hostel, like the way the house is looking, right? And Lindsay sat down outside with all of them, with Panos, and said, oh, I told Panos I just wanted to fire you all because this is disgusting. Which is a fair thing to say, in my opinion. It's fair. You're like paying these people to come live, like, you're paying for this. Like, they should take care of it, right? Like, I don't think I'm wrong in saying that, but anywho's all. So Kayla is still upset about the conversation and wish she had said more. So she's like, you're gonna fire me because my stuff isn't clean, instead of talking about like how I am on the job and all those sorts of things. Like, she was a real bitch. And Lindsay's like, you know what, fuck you, blah blah blah, like kind of like goes off on the girl and says, you're fired, get the fuck out, you're fired, right? This girl turns around as she's walking out and goes, go do some more drugs, Lindsay. And I was like, anyway, there's another story where May kissed, so May and a few other girls went, as I said earlier in this video, you can rewind if you'd like, no don't, it's really insignificant, right? But, so apparently, not apparently, so they, as I said in the early part of this video, they have little business cards they're meant to give out when they go out, right? And the guys use that for cute girls, the girls use that for hot guys. Like, it's not that big of a deal, right? But anyway, Janessa had invited a man and his friends that she had met in the local area, gave her a card, all this sort of stuff. As they were all walking into work that night, a woman turned around. This man turned around, and the girls that worked there, like May and a few of the other girls, kissed him on the cheek, the European, mwah, mwah. When they saw him, they were just being professional, courteous, respectful in a foreign country and also at their place of business, right? We want to make these people feel welcome. Well, Janessa did not like that, so you know what Janessa did? When they got home that night, she had to go at May. They had to like fall out, and then she punched her and then went to like smack her in the neck. Like, it was really aggressive and fucking unnecessary, but no one did anything about it. But what are you gonna do? Then we have the whole relationship thing with Sarah and Brent, and honestly, I kind of just want to insert clips here of how he would just berate her and treat her. And he like said to her, he's like, you know how you meet a girl and you think she's like a strong 7, but it's only because she's surrounded by 2s? Yeah, this house is just full of 2s. Sarah just looks good next to all the 2s. It's just ridiculous. Like, it's like the way that he treated her throughout this thing, like, and then they had friends come and stay from America. So like, some people had American, like, for people from America come to visit. Brent had 2 friends. And the whole time in this house, he was saying, you are now my girlfriend. I want you to meet my mother. How are we going to do this across state lines, because she lives in California and he lives in Las Vegas and all this sort of stuff, right? But it was a very, very intense relationship. She was getting jealous when he was moisturizing a VIP female guest. he was getting upset with her because I think she said something like, you know, you can't do that at work or whatever, I don't know. But, like, they were just really, really toxic, like, gross toxic. Like, he would get drunk and, like, be nasty. He, again, he had his friends come over from America. And he stayed away from her the entire time. Like, he didn't even introduce them. And everyone was like, you're not going to have a girlfriend when you leave here. And he's like, yeah, no. Like, but she, like, that's how fucked up this guy is, yeah? So she ended up, Billy was trying to get in with her the whole time, but she was saying no to Billy because she was, like, giving Brent a chance. And then Brent fucked her over, and then she gave Billy a chance. And then the day that she gave Billy a chance, he went out that night and cheated on her. Then Brent went home and laughed about it. What? You're a jerk. Anyway, so essentially that's basically what it's about, is a bunch of these people fighting, and Lindsay Lohan, you don't know whether you're going to get an inspiring speech from her or she's going to yell at you and fire you. And she has a lot of reference to mean girl behavior, mean girl mentality. And I don't think she realizes how mean she's been in the past. But then again, do we not know how mean people have been to Lindsay in the past? So I don't know. But yeah. Bye, Blandy. Okay, so there was one section mid-season where we had our MTV, just like extras at this point, because they're like in every single show, is like Geordie Shore, like Charlotte type stuff. Everywhere you go on MTV, that bird's gonna pop up somewhere, you know what I mean? But anyway, they ended up having them as VIP guests. And then they ended up having them at their house for them to like cook for them and host them and spend time with them. And they were like, the Geordie Shore people are like, see, I don't take offense to like how they are, because one, half my family's British, and that's just how some of them are, right? But at the same time, they wanted the drama, they wanted the juice, and to be honest with you, it kind of let me down. A little bit. So I don't really have much to say about it here. I was basically like, you're lucky that I'm being seen around you, and, you know, try and get them drunk at work, get them stupid drunk, and just things that weren't very interesting to me. There was another part where there was another section of the show. There's another section of the show that I kind of want to talk about, and I'm not entirely sure whether a lot of people kind of understand how big of a deal this is. And when I was watching it, I had to go and check whether this was like a 2008, 2010, 2011, even 12 sort of show. And once I actually saw that it was 2019, I damn near fucking shit myself. I was like, are you fucking serious? And you know, I'm not a sensitive person. I don't take offense to a lot of things. I don't, I see where jokes are. I see where humor and intention and stuff like that is. Like, I have a very dark, dry sense of humor. And a lot of people, when they kind of first meet me or know me, or maybe sometimes in my video come across very smug, very those sorts of things, and I don't mean that at all. Like, I really don't. And there's my little ramble. But what happened here actually really like hit me, like it really hurt me. So Mike is a bisexual man, and okay, so Mike is a bisexual man, and he's in the show, right? And he is really like into Jules, and he thinks Jules is like super attractive, and you know, she's amazing, right? And then they bring a new person, like as I said before, they had brought a couple of new servers in to like ruffle the feathers, and one of the people that they brought in was one of his gay co-workers, who in the past they had relations, right? They had done the horizontal hokey pokey. Okay, and he was basically saying that since being on the island, he's not, like, if he sleeps with a guy or ends up with a guy, then he's kind of lost his chance of being with a woman. And a lot of stigma around, like, he's just waiting for you to come completely out the closet and all this really, really fucked up stuff, like really judgmental shit. Anyway, so he was like sitting down with Mike, and he was really opening up to Mike about how, you know, he doesn't know what to do on the island because he can't seem to get with a man, he can't seem to get with a woman, he can't seem to get in because there's stigma on both ends. And, you know, and then his friend from his workplace, who he has confided in the past and they've had an intimate relationship in the past, basically tells him that it's gross. He is gross for being bisexual, and he doesn't blame women for not wanting to be with him because he's bisexual. And I just found that was so nasty. Like, that was so nasty. And it was just one of those, like, elements of the show that I was kind of glad that they had, because it does open up a big dialogue of, like, is there, like, I can't say whether there is stigma or not around anything to do with being bisexual, because I don't know anything about that. But I felt like this, you know, these scenes in this show were very, 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 very judgmental. And no one really, like, corrected it. They said sorry and, like, made up, but no one really sat down and had a really big conversation about how fluid sexuality is and how we should not be judged for us. Like, just, I just felt like that was a really nice moment that could have been a lot bigger than what it was. Again, this show has a lot of things that, if you look at the layers of it, it's pretty cool. And it's pretty cool to see, what's her name? Lindsay Lohan, like, it feels different watching her in this. And the show feels like it could learn a lot, but they just, every bit that could have been up here was just, you know, like, they failed every storyline they try to produce. And they gave such a platform to your main character, Brent, you know, your antagonist. Like, he was just a fucking prick, mate. Like, imagine if he watches this and he's like, oh, you're mean. But anyway, guys, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Would you watch it? Does it seem interesting? Was this a flop? Was this a not? Was this a shit or a hit? I don't know. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to, like, ramble about that freaking show. I found it so interesting, and I will try and put some clips in, and I hope, like, you guys, if you want to watch it, go watch it, Paramount Plus. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Remember to like, subscribe, send a pigeon, keep the same energy, and I will see you guys in the next one. Please give me suggestions for videos down below, guys. Any suggestion. I'm open to anything. And I just spat everywhere. Anyway, bye.